Quarantine, day 15. Today's workout, stronger for longer. So we've got 3 trisets, meaning that each set's got 3 exercises. You'll notice that there's some overlap in that triset as similar muscle groups working to get an enhanced level of fatigue since we're using lighter loads. We're also going to be using some isometric movements, meaning that we're holding a particular position. It is static, no movement, and then we're tensing everything up to try to get as much out of that movement as possible while we are staying still. Your first movement here, we're combining a reverse lunge on the slider, my makeshift slider, and an overhead press. So you're going to take your dumbbells or whatever household items that you're using, whether it be cans or bags of rice or beans, and you're going to hold them just above the shoulder area here. We're going to go into that reverse lunge with the slider. My front leg here is the one that's working, whereas this leg over here on the slider is very light and dainty, and I don't have too much weight on it. I'm going to push my towel or my slider back. I'm going to descend into my lunge pattern, back to standing, press. Descend into my lunge pattern, back to standing, press. I'm going to perform all 10, leading with the leg I'm on right now. And when I'm finished, I'm going to switch over and perform another 10 from this leg. So we're going to accumulate 10 per leg, but 20 in the overhead press. Our second exercise here is going to be a bird dog, and we're also going to combine that with our beast pose. So getting into a quadruped to start, pulling the hands toward the thighs, thighs towards the hand, anchoring my toes to the floor. Now I'm going to lift my knees about an inch up off the floor. So now I got a lot of work happening through my midsection and also my shoulders and through my hips and my quads. Now I'm going to perform that that hip extension or that bird dog element where I'm going to extend my left hip out behind me, squeezing my left butt cheek as hard as I can, returning my toe back to the floor, and now the opposite side. You want to get as much out of that extension as possible by really trying to get that glute to fire on like it's rock solid. Now, as soon as you have finished 10 total, so 5 and 5, you're now going to drop, this is the third exercise, into that quadruped position, and you are going to aggressively pull your hands to your thighs and your thighs to your hands and hold this position for the allotted time that is specified through the workout. This should not be easy. This will be as hard as you make it. We are moving on to the second tricep. The first exercise here is a pike push-up. You're going to get into a regular push-up position, and you are going to walk your hands a tiny bit closer towards the toes and then stick your butt up in the air. Now, from this position, we're going to lower ourselves towards the floor and press back up. Lower ourselves towards the floor, press back up, lower ourselves towards the floor, and if you find that you're not getting a large range of motion from doing the pike push-up on the ground, find a table, a wall, the edge of a sofa, and place your hands on the edge. Walk your feet backwards on your tippy toe, and you're going to push your butt out so you feel a bit of a tension and a stretch down the back of the leg here. Same concept, bending through the elbows, bringing your head towards the table or the wall, and pressing back. Down, 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 pressing back. The pike gives us a little bit more of an overhead push as opposed to a regular push-up, which gives us a horizontal press. The next movement in this series is going to be a hamstring curl on slider. So I've used a towel. You can also use socks on a slippery surface, or if you've got some furniture movers that are like $10 for a pack of floor from Home Depot, those work magic as well. You're going to lay on your back, pushing your lower back into the floor, pressing your hands into the floor, pressing your heels into the floor. Lift up through the hip area, being cautious not to extend through the lower back. So if you're really high, chances are you're getting a little bit of extra movement through that lower back area. It's less so about how high you can get and more about making sure that we've got that pelvic tilt before we even bring the hips up. I'm then going to push through my heels as far away as I feel comfortable, and I'm going to pull back in. Push through my heels as far away as I feel comfortable, pull back in. Yes, this will light up the back of the legs tremendously. After you've completed the number of reps that is prescribed, you are then going to hold a glute bridge position, which is basically the start of what the hamstring curl looked like. I'm going to squeeze my butt cheeks as hard as I possibly can, and I'm going to hold this position for that full 45 seconds. The next movement here, the first exercise of the third tricep, is going to be an isometric deadlift hold. So you're going to get into your hip hinge position, and you're going to use an item, if you don't have weights at the house, that's heavy. Preferably something that you actually cannot lift. You're going to get into that deep hip hinge position. Again, movement coming through the hips as opposed to through the back. You're going to use your hands to grab the bottom of the item. You're going to push the floor apart and pull the shoulder blades back and down. Create as much tension as you can in this bottom position for what the allotted time says on the workout. Immediately after that isometric deadlift, you're going to stay in that same hip hinge position. Grab your light weights or your household items and lift the shoulders so that you become into a reverse fly position for 30 repetitions. Now, even though my upper body is doing work, the importance here is that we're still creating that strong amount of tension through the lower body and the core like we were doing in that deadlift. The final movement of the training protocol today is a hollow body hold. So you're going to lay on your back, hands extended behind the head. You're going to push your lower back into the ground, and that's really where the integrity of this movement is, because that's what's going to allow that midsection to turn on. So once you've established that, you're going to lift the heels and the lower body slightly off the ground, and the head, the shoulders, and the arms slightly off the ground, so that the entire focus point here is truly on the midsection.